Hey Anime Stark fam. Welcome back to part 2 of Deku X Fem Todoroki. Get ready for more romance, twists, and epic moments in this unexpected love story. If you love My Hero Academia and unique anime narratives, you're in for a treat. Hit that like button, subscribe, and let's dive into the next chapter together. Let's go. These recent days have been very pleasant because, for once in a long time, I felt what it's like to have good companions and friends outside of Akane-chan. Another thing that happened these days was that Ka-chan was less grumpy and violent than usual, which worried me because when she stopped behaving like that, it was either because she was depressed or thinking about something very important. Akane-chan liked this change in attitude because she stopped bothering me. As for Akane-chan, she hasn't made many friends, to say the least. She only talks to 3 people in the class, Uraka, Momo, or me. With others, she behaves curtly and coldly, especially with the perverts Mineta and Denki. Right now, Akane-chan and I were talking about what happened with her father and how she has been more docile towards her mother these last few days. Suddenly, the door opened very noisily, revealing someone well known to everyone, especially to me and Akane. "I'm entering like a normal person," said All Might, striking a ridiculous pose. Sure, that entry was as normal as seeing Mineta not being a pervert, I thought with amusement. "Wow, it's All Might," exclaimed Denki with excitement. "Uncle Might, what are you doing here?" Akane asked, doubtful. "Well, I'm a teacher. Didn't young Izuku tell you?" All Might said with his usual smile. "No, he didn't tell me, but it doesn't matter. I'm glad you're still my teacher," Akane replied with a surprisingly cheerful smile that surprised everyone except me. "Wait, how is he your uncle?" Mina asked. "The truth is, he's not my biological uncle, but he's like a family member. He has always been a good friend of my father," Akane explained stoically. "Hey, All Might, what kind of class will you teach us?" I asked curiously. "I'll instruct you in the basic courses of heroes," All Might replied. "That will be great," exclaimed Kirishima. "Of course, we're lucky that the number 1 hero is training us," added Sero. "Young ones, pay attention," said All Might. Everyone listened attentively. "Besides courage, what characterizes a hero?" "That's right, it's their costume," All Might said, pressing a button that activated some mechanisms in the walls, revealing costumes. "This is amazing. Finally, we'll wear hero costumes like the professionals," Uraka said excitedly. "Well, young ones, I'll see you in the training ground in 10 minutes, All Might said, leaving the classroom. After that, we all went to the changing rooms to get ready. 10 minutes later, we could see the entire Class A in the training ground, all wearing their costumes. "Is everyone here?" All Might asked. "No, Uncle Might, Izuku-kun is missing," Akane said neutrally. "Everything is fine." "Why?" "Because I'm here," I said with all the excitement and energy I had. Everyone turned to look at me strangely, but when they saw my costume, they were amazed. "Ha ha ha, young Izuku not only stole my line but also the appearance. It's so obvious," All Might said, making fun of my costume. "Oh, come on, All Might knows that I've been waiting for 10 damn years to say that," I said a little annoyed. "And it was worth it," All Might said, still laughing. "It was worth every damn second of waiting," I laughed like crazy. After everyone looked at me strangely and praised my costume, All Might began to explain. "Young ones, the practice consists of a 2-on-2 fight, representing heroes and villains," All Might said. "How will you choose the order?" Ida asked, raising his hand. "At random, with the aim of making you learn to adapt to any situation because in the real field, you won't be able to choose who you work with. Any other questions?" All Might continued with the practice. After we all picked a card from an urn, they categorized us as heroes or villains. Teams: Ida Katagi vs Izuku Momo. Sero Kirishima vs Denki Mineta. Tou Ojiro vs Tokoyami Aoyama. Kota Shoji vs Jiro Sato. Uraka Akane vs Asui Mina. As I was getting ready for the battle, Akane-chan approached me. "Izuku-kun, your costume looks good," Akane said, a little blush on her face. "Thanks, Akane-chan. You also look good in your hero costume," I replied with a smile. "Thanks, Izuku-kun. My parents inspired me to create the costume. They gave me the idea to make it light for when I use the ice side and the energy regulator to keep my temperature stable in battle to distract myself in making it myself," she said, smiling happily. "Well, mine is obviously a copy of All Might's appearance," I said, feeling a bit embarrassed. "I think you look like a rabbit with that mask," Akane said, laughing lightly. I'm glad you see it that way, I said. First and second teams ready, announced All Might. Sorry, Akane-chan, but I have to go, I said, rushing to the starting point. Good luck, Izuku-kun, Akane said, giving me her support. Upon reaching the starting point, Momo and I were given a map of the building where the practice took place. Alright, Momo, the plan is for you to go straight to the bomb. I think and am almost sure that the only one who will accompany him is Ida. Obviously, Kachan will come after me without thinking, so you'll set a trap for Ida. I understand that your quirk is creation, I said seriously. Yes, that's right. What will the trap consist of? Momo asked. Well, you'll create a strong adhesive and spread it through the hallways near the bomb. After that, you'll lure Ida towards you, I said calmly. It sounds logical, but how will I avoid sticking to it? Momo asked, analyzing the plan. You'll also create a solvent for the adhesive. I also have a contingency plan in case the first one doesn't work, which is that you'll throw freezing bombs into the room, freeze Ida's legs, and then knock him out with an object you create. Do you understand? I said, confident in the plan. I'll trust you, Midoriya, Momo said. Alright, let's practice, I said, getting ready. Upon entering, we started climbing the stairs, covering each other's backs. After climbing 4 floors out of the 20 the building had, a voice was heard in the distance. Deku, I found you, Kachan said in anger. Alright, Momo, as we planned, I shouted. Okay, be careful, Momo said, starting to fight. Don't ignore me, idiot, Kachan said, giving me an explosion. As the explosion hit, a smoke layer rose. When it cleared, Kachan was on the ground, and I was in full cowl at 15%, with one finger extended. Kachan, don't underestimate me. I'm not the weak kid you had to take care of when we were little, I said with a serious look. Don't get too excited just because you hit me. Now you'll see, Kachan said, running towards me and trying to hit me with an explosion. At that moment, I applied one of the moves taught by Endeavor, grabbed his non-explosive arm, and threw him to the ground. Washington smash, I shouted with force. Kachan could only groan in pain as he fell to the ground. After getting up, he tried to attack me again, but I just dodged. Don't run away, damn Deku, fight, Kachan said angrily. Just wait a little, I said seriously. What's wrong with you? Do you feel superior? She said, very annoyed. It's time, I said with a smile as green rays covered me. POV Izuku end. Meanwhile, with the raven-haired girl, she was running towards the bomb room. She began spreading the glue through all the hallways nearby while applying the solvent. Then, she entered the bomb room and shouted. Lita, over here, Momo said. Haha, what's a hero doing here? Lita said, pretending to have a villain's attitude. Give me the bomb now, Momo said. I won't give it to you so easily. First, you have to defeat me, Lita said. Come on, follow me. Let's fight outside, Momo suggested. Do you think I'm so gullible to fall for that trick? The smell of glue reaches here, Lita said, thinking he had figured out Momo's foolish plan. The positive thing was that Midoriya had a plan B, Momo said, throwing some freezing grenades. Lita was surprised by what Momo did, but it was too late to escape. Now I just have to wait for Midoriya to come, Momo said. POV Izuku. While fighting Kachan, I heard what sounded like breaking glass, a clear sign that Momo had used the grenades. Alright, Kachan, it's time for the real fight, I said, activating full cowl at 15%. TSK, damn Deku, I'll kill you, Kachan said, trying to hit me. Delaware smash, I shouted, releasing a burst of wind with my fingers. Damn, die, Kachan said, trying to give me an explosion. I tried to dodge, but quickly Kachan used another explosion to get behind my back. Detroit smash, I said, spinning with all my speed to hit her with the pressured air from the punch, avoiding causing too much damage and slamming her into the wall. You. Useless. Why are you holding back? She said, coming out of the wall. I don't want to hurt someone who used to be my best friend, I said, smiling. Observation room. Wow, Izuku is really strong. He's kicking Bakugo's ass, and he's not even breaking a sweat, Denki said. Yeah, but I can't believe he's hitting a woman, Kirishima said. Young Kirishima, in a real battle, when you're in a situation where a villain takes a hostage and you have the opportunity to attack, would you take advantage of the opportunity? All Might asked. Of course, without hesitation, Kirishima replied. And if the villain were a woman, would you miss the chance to attack just because of your moral code not to harm women, putting the hostage in danger? All Might asked directly. Kirishima didn't say anything. I hope you understand, said All Might. Look, Izuku is using his fingers like pressure cannons, said Mina. Yeah, it's amazing. I didn't think he would be this strong, said Sato. Wow, easily impressed, aren't you? Said Akane. Why do you say that, Akane-chan? Asked Tsuyu. Izuku-kun could have won his first move without complications, but he's holding back because he doesn't want the fight he's been waiting for over 8 years to end quickly, said Akane, serious and cold. But it can't be that Izuku is so strong, said Denki, incredulous. He is. That's why he's my Uncle All Might's #1 student, said Akane, surprising everyone. Akane, I think you've said enough, said All Might tensely, anticipating what would come next. I just stated the truth, but let's keep watching the fight, said Akane. Practice area. I had been fighting with Kachan for more than 5 minutes, using the Delaware Smash. My fingers were starting to numb from using the maximum percentage of one for all that I control. Momo, it's time. Hold on to something, this is going to be intense, I said to Momo through the communicator. Yes, said Momo. Kachan, it's time to end this, I said, smiling. Why are you smiling? Do you think you can defeat me? She said, annoyed. Sorry for this, full combination, I said, emitting even wilder rays. What are you trying to do, Deku? Said Kachan. At that moment, I burst into a burst of speed towards Kachan, overwhelming her when I stood in front of her. Detroit Smash, I said, hooking her ribs, making them crunch. Florida Smash, I said, giving an uppercut directed at her face. The burst of air made the entire ceiling pulverize. Delaware Smash, I said, sending a burst of compressed air. Before she could be sent flying, I grabbed her arm. Washington Smash, I said, finally slamming her to the ground. After finishing the full combination, I thought Kachan would be unconscious, but I was wrong. She remained conscious, barely. Darn it, Deku. How did you become so strong? Said Kachan, tears in her eyes. I became strong, thanks to the people who believed in me, Akane-chan, my mother, Mr. Enji, Mrs. Rei, Natsuo, Fuyumi, and Mr. Toshi. I strive to be stronger every day for them, I said, holding my swollen left arm. Oh. I see. I'm sorry, Izuku-kun, said Kachan before fainting. Her last words surprised me. She didn't call me Deku or useless but used my name as she did when we were kids. But it wasn't the time to dwell on this. I communicated with Momo through the intercom. Momo, are you there? I asked. Yes, Midoriya, I'm here, said Momo. Where's the bomb? I asked. I think it's. Momo didn't finish her sentence. The heroes win, said All Might over the loudspeakers. Well, it looks like we won, I told Momo. Yes, it seems we won because I ended up on top of the bomb, said Momo. After that, we left the building with Ida and Kachan unconscious. When we reached the observation room, everyone bombarded me with questions. Is it true you're All Might student? Asked Denki. Is it true that's not all your power? Asked Mina. How are you so strong and fast? Asked Kirishima. At that moment, an ice wall emerged in front of me. Leave Izuku-kun alone, he needs to rest after that fight, said Akane, coldly. But Bakugo didn't even touch him, said Tsuyu. Look at his arm, that's what happens when he overexerts himself with his quirk. It's a miracle his arm didn't break using only 15% of his power, said Akane, making everyone look at Izuku's red arm. Wow, that happened to his arm just using 15% of his power, said Kirishima. Young ones, you can discuss that later. Now, let the next ones go, said All Might. After everyone had their turn, it was Uraka and Akane's turn. Good luck, I said to Akane. Thanks, Izuku-kun. I promise I'll win, she said confidently. Outside, Akane and Uraka were studying the map of the complex. Akane simply tossed the plans aside. This is useless, said Akane. Let's try our best, said Uraka, motivated with a smile. Uraka, you know, I like you. You remind me of Izuku-kun with your way of being. I'm glad to have another friend besides Izuku, said Akane, giving Uraka a smile. Thanks, it's an honor to be your friend, said Uraka happily. Well, friend, I'll take care of it, said Akane. How will you do it alone? Asked Uraka, confused. Observation room. PSS, Mr. Toshi thinks she should do that, I whispered. Well, I think so too. It's the most likely scenario, he whispered back. I hope she doesn't overdo it, I said nervously. Practice area. Just watch, said Akane, freezing the building, rendering the villains and the bomb useless. Well, that was easy, said Uraka. The heroes win, said All Might. Wow, Akane is just as strong as Izuku, said Mina. Not for nothing, she's the daughter of the number 2 hero, said Denki. Guys, if you don't want to end up frozen or incinerated, don't compare her to her father. It annoys her, I warned them. Okay, understood, they both said with fear. All right, young ones, return to the classroom. The practice is over, said All Might. Everyone went to change. The day passed normally until the end, and I was looking for Kachan to apologize for what I did. Hey, Kirishima-kun, have you seen Kachan? I asked, pleading. Yeah, he's about to leave, he said, pointing to the academy's door. I quickly used full cowl to catch up with her. When I did, I stopped her by the shoulder. Kachan, wait, I said, out of breath. What's up, Izuku-kun? She said with a warm smile. I wanted to apologize for what I did to you in the practice, I said, bowing. Please don't apologize, Kachan said in a subdued tone. No, I really want to, I said nervously. I told you not to do it, idiot, Kachan said, shedding some tears. But why? I said, confused. I'm the one who should apologize for everything I've done to you over the years. How I despised you, hit you, humiliated you, yelled at you, insulted you, how I mocked your dream, and how I told you to commit suicide. I'm so sorry, so sorry. You must hate me right now, Kachan said, crying inconsolably. Don't worry, I could never hate you in any way. In fact, I still consider you my friend, I said with a smile. Izuku-kun, that's something I always disliked about you, your compassion. But at the same time, I like that you're like that, Kachan said happily. Thanks, I said, embarrassed by the compliment. All right, Izuku-kun, I have to go. I hope we can fight again and be friends like we used to be, Kachan said with a smile. Yes, Kachan, goodbye, and I hope so too, I said, bidding her farewell. Suddenly, Akane arrived. We're leaving, said Akane with a smile. Sure, I said, going with her. Katagi's story. Hello, my name is Bakugo Katagi. I'm 15 years old, and I go to the best hero academy in the world, UA. When I turned 4, I developed my quirk, which allowed me to create explosions from my palms. I was really happy when I found out. It was like every kid's dream come true. My dream was to become the number 1 hero, just like my favorite hero, All Might. When I discovered my quirk, I couldn't wait to tell my best friend, Izuku Midoriya. Izuku was a kind and gentle guy. I ran to his house and excitedly knocked on his door. Izuku-kun, Izuku-kun, are you there? I said with excitement. Izuku's mom, Mrs. Inko, opened the door. What's up, Katagi-chan? She said with a smile. Izuku is in his room. Thanks, I said and quickly went inside. I rushed up the stairs to Izuku's room. Izuku-kun, I have good news, I said, jumping onto his bed. What's up, Kachan? Izuku said, smiling warmly. I finally developed my quirk, I said happily, lying back on the bed. I'm glad, Kachan. I hope mine shows up soon, Izuku said, a bit sad. Don't worry. It will show up soon. Now, tell me what you were doing, I said, trying to cheer him up. I was watching All Might videos on my computer. Do you want to watch with me? Izuku said happily. Sure, Izuku-kun, I said, sitting next to him. We enjoyed watching our favorite videos. After an hour, we fell asleep next to each other. Mrs. Inko came in. Little Katagi, your mom is here to pick you up, Mrs. Inko said gently. Thanks, I'm coming, I said, rubbing my eyes. Bye, Izuku-kun. See you soon. After that, everything continued as usual. Izuku and I played and had fun. But then came a day when Izuku told me something shocking while we were playing in the forest. Kachan, I need to tell you something, he said sadly. I told him to go ahead, that it was okay. The truth is, I don't have a quirk. The doctor told me a week ago, but I didn't know how to tell you, Izuku said with sadness. I didn't know how to react. Part of me wanted to hug and comfort him, but another part wanted to yell at him for being quirkless. When he tried to stop me, I just ran away, crying. When I got home, I went to my room and thought about what Izuku told me. I felt so confused, not knowing how to treat him now. Should I protect him? Should I still be his friend? What should I do with Izuku? He must feel bad for being quirkless. I can't abandon him, but if I'm with him, I'll make him feel inferior. I should stay away from him. It's for the best, I said, crying. The next day, I was figuring out how to make Izuku distance himself from me when he called. Kachan, can we talk about what I told you yesterday? Izuku said with a smile. At that moment, I wanted to run and hug him, but I held back. Hey, Deku, don't talk to me. I don't want to be associated with you, I said, trying to be intimidating. He tried to ask why, but I just told him to stay away and not consider me his friend. The teacher came, and we had to share our dreams. We all talked about wanting to be heroes, police officers, or firefighters. When it was Izuku's turn, he said he would be the #1 hero and save everyone with a smile. A kid who overheard my conversation with Izuku revealed that he didn't have a quirk. Everyone laughed, questioning how someone without a quirk could become the strongest hero. I wanted to explode each one of their faces, but deep down, I knew they were right. After class, I found Izuku to tell him to give up on his dream. I just wanted to prevent him from getting hurt by chasing an impossible dream. When I found him, I told him. Katagi's account, final part. Listen, Deku, give up the dream of being a hero. Someone like you will end up dead sooner or later, I said seriously. It hurt to say that, to take away his dream, but my concern was greater. But, Kachan, I already told you I won't give up. I hoped you'd support me, but it seems you'll say the same as everyone else, right? He said sadly at my words. It felt like a stab, as if a dagger was being driven into me, but I had to prevent him from getting himself killed. A year later, Izuku distanced himself from me. We didn't talk anymore. My mom and Mrs. Inko argued because Mrs. Inko told my mom how I treated Izuku. My mom didn't believe her, causing them to yell at each other and stop talking. This situation made me feel guilty, which soon turned into stress. I found it harder and harder to stay calm until the moment I became an explosive girl, living up to my name. To relieve stress, I started bothering others. One day, while annoying a two-tone girl, a burn-like mark appeared on her, and Izuku came to help. I didn't want to harm anyone, but seeing how he defended her made me want to hit him. A couple of idiots joined in. I wanted to stop myself in them, but the feeling was stronger than my willpower. Luckily, the girl Izuku protected ended up helping him, and I left, upset but also relieved not to harm my friend anymore. After that day, the two-tone girl transferred to my school. She became friends with Izuku, making him forget about me. He was no longer alone as before. He didn't seem sad anymore, he was happy. Seeing him laugh made me happy, but what bothered me was the one causing that joy, she who stole the most important thing to me, my friend, one of the most important people to me. Over the years, the jealousy I felt towards that girl grew and grew. I wondered what was happening. In the end, I realized I was in love with Izuku, but it was too late. He probably no longer considered me a friend or even a companion. One day, after leaving high school, I was thinking about Izuku and whether he could get into UA. My thoughts were interrupted by a villain made of slime. Look what we have here, a pretty girl, the villain said. Go to hell, I said, annoyed, while producing explosions. Your quirk could be useful to me, the villain said, rushing towards me. Damn, I said, trying to save myself, but my explosions had no effect on him, and in the end, he managed to catch me. I spent almost 5 minutes waiting for a hero to rescue me. 3 heroes tried to save me, but they couldn't get close due to my explosions. After 30 minutes, I thought I would end up dead, punishing myself for everything I put Izuku through. Then, I saw Izuku in the distance running toward me. I worried that he would get hurt, told him to go away, but he just smiled and said he thought I needed help. In the end, Izuku couldn't do anything against the villain, but luckily, All Might saved us. As we walked home, thinking about what Izuku did, trying to save me, made me very happy. I saw Izuku walking, approached him, and tried to be friendly but couldn't. So, I just tried to thank him in my own way, with insults. After that evening, I didn't see Izuku again until the UA entrance exams. At that moment, I was fighting him. I just wanted to make him see reason and leave UA because even though I saw his new power, I couldn't stop thinking that he couldn't be a hero. After he rightfully defeated me, I understood that he no longer needed me to stay away because he was much stronger than me. I just hoped he would forgive me for what I did. Fortunately, he was a very kind and understanding person, so he forgave me. I hope we can restore our old relationship. After what happened yesterday, Izuku felt happy that his friend was slowly becoming the way she used to be. Suddenly, someone called him. "Son, Akane is here. Come down," Inko said from the living room. "Yeah, Mom, I'm coming," the green-haired boy replied to tease Bakugo. "Izuku-kun, how did you sleep?" Akane asked cheerfully. "Very well. Why do you ask?" Izuku said, confused. "It's obvious you slept well, so much so that we're running late," Akane said, smiling even more. It's true. Let's go quickly, Akane-chan. If we're late, Aizawa-sensei will kill us, Izuku said, running to the exit. "See you, Mrs. Inko," Akane said, being pulled by Izuku. "Yes, Akane, take care of Izuku," Inko said. "Yes, of course," Akane said, smiling. Outside, Izuku began to activate full cowl. "Come on, Akane-chan, we must hurry to avoid being late," Izuku said, covered in green sparks. "Fine, but try not to crash into a wall," Akane said, laughing lightly, then climbed onto Izuku's back. After a few minutes, Izuku and Akane arrived at school, landing in the parking lot. "Well, this time we landed without hurting ourselves," Izuku said. "Yes, thanks for that," Akane said. Akane and Izuku started walking to the classroom. Fortunately, they arrived before Professor Aizawa. Upon entering, they saw that all their classmates were already in the room. "Hey guys, how are you?" said Izuku happily. "Good, Izuku. You were awesome in yesterday's practice," said Denki. "Yeah, Izuku, I didn't think you could pull off such a move," added Uraka. "Thanks, hee, blushed Izuku. "Hey, it's impressive how you defeated Bakugo," said Kirishima. At that moment, we see Katagi entering the room with a serious face, then she notices Kirishima. "Wow, she kicked my butt," she said, changing her serious expression to an energetic one. That surprised all of us. "We expected her to yell and maybe hit him, but it didn't happen," Kirishima remarked. "Kachan, I'm glad you're back to how you were before," said Izuku cheerfully. "Yeah, I'm glad to leave that unpleasant side behind," said Kachan, smiling with a lollipop in her mouth. "I think I'm dreaming. I hope Mom wakes me up soon," said Denki. "This is real, damn Transformer," grumbled Kachan. "Well, almost like before, although as the saying goes, Rome wasn't built in a day," teased Izuku. "Izuku-kun, could you be quiet, or I'll tell everyone about your little secret when you were 4, said Kachan, sweetly smiling. "No, it's okay, Kachan. I'll be quiet," said Izuku. Everyone laughed at what was happening, except one. "Explosive girl, I can't believe you changed so quickly, and I won't forget all the harm you did to Izuku-kun," said Akane coldly. "I don't care what you think, half and half. I'm just trying to make amends for my mistakes with Itsuku-kun," said Kachan with a challenging smile. Akane and Kachan started looking at each other challengingly until Aizawa-sensei arrived. "Both of you, calm down," said Aizawa, floating his bandages with his quirk. At that moment, everyone was back in their seats. "First of all, congratulations to all of you for your performance, especially Akane, Katagi, and Izuku," said Aizawa. "Obviously, they would be recognized," Tsuyu commented. "Yes, that was more than evident," said Mina, almost shouting. "Let me finish," threatened Aizawa, silencing everyone. "Although you did well, there are still flaws. Katagi, you have talent, don't waste it on pointless disputes. Akane, well done freezing the enemies and disabling the bomb, but the practice was to improve your cooperation. And Izuku, you have a good plan and a good fighting style, but you held back. Don't do it again," Aizawa advised his students. "Yes, sensei, it won't happen again," said Kachan. "I'm sorry, sensei. I'll try to rely on my classmates more," stoically said Akane. "Next time, I'll go all out," declared Izuku. "Now, you have to choose your class president," said Aizawa, getting into his sleeping bag. "Yes, sensei," they all replied. After Aizawa's words, they began to deliberate on who would be suitable for the position. In the end, they decided that Izuku would be the president for his magnificent ability to adapt to situations, and the vice president would be Ida for his excellent way of managing the class. With that decided, it was time for lunch. Everyone left, and Izuku sat with Uraka, Ida, Akane, and surprisingly, Kachan. "Well, what will you guys order?" asked Izuku. "I'll have rice," said Uraka. "I'll just get a juice," said Ida, making his strange arm movements. "I'll eat whatever Izuku eats," said Akane indifferently. "I'll have yakisoba," said Kachan. "Alright, I'll go get what you ordered," said Izuku. Izuku goes to the counter to buy lunch for his classmates. "Hey, I'd like to apologize if I ever offended any of you in any way," said Kachan. "Don't worry, Katagi-chan, no problem," said Uraka casually. "Anyway, the important thing is that you're improving your attitude," said Ida calmly. "I don't accept your apologies," said Akane coldly. "I was only apologizing to Roundface and Ida, not you, Bicolor," said Kachan annoyed. "But what's going on between you two?" asked Ida. "Yes, tell us," said Uraka. Izuku was returning when he overheard the conversation. He signaled to Uraka and Ida not to continue. The only one who saw it was Uraka. Kachan was about to answer, but fortunately, the intruder alarm sounded, causing all the students to run in panic. Izuku and his friends were trapped among the crowd. "Uraka, make me float," said Izuku. "Sure, I'm coming," said Uraka, touching Izuku. "Now, Kachan, propel me with an explosion," said Izuku seriously. "Yes, on your command," said Kachan, preparing one. Izuku quickly shot forward in front of the crowd of students. "Delaware smash," shouted Izuku, releasing a burst of air in front of the students to stop them. Izuku's plan worked perfectly, all the students stopped in their tracks. "Listen, don't worry, the alarm was triggered by the press," said Izuku, pointing to the door where some journalists were. After hearing this, everyone looked in the direction he pointed and saw the journalists. After a few moments, everyone started going to their classes. "Well done, Izuku," said Ida. "Yes, Izuku, you thought quickly." "You're awesome," said Uraka. "It's nothing without the help of you or Kachan. I wouldn't have pulled it off," said Izuku, smiling. "It was nothing, Izuku-kun," said Kachan, smiling. "Izuku-kun, can we talk outside?" asked Akane seriously. "Of course," I said calmly, but inside, I was quite scared. After the incident with the journalists, classes went on as usual. Everyone began to appreciate Kachan's new attitude, except Akane, who still didn't trust Kachan's change. When leaving, Akane and Izuku were walking towards the Todoroki residence. "What did you want to talk about, Akane-chan?" asked Izuku. "Well, I wanted to know what you think of Bakugo's change in attitude," said Akane seriously. "I'm actually glad she's back to how she used to be," said Izuku happily. "Akane, sometimes I think you're too lenient with people," said Akane, pouting. "It's not that. It's just that I couldn't be mad at her because she's still like a sister to me," said Izuku. "And what am I to you?" asked Akane with a cute pout. "She's cute sometimes, you're my best friend," said Izuku, tousling Akane's hair. "Izuku-kun, don't do that," said Akane, puffing her cheeks. "But you like it, don't you?" teased Izuku. "Hey, that's questionable," said Akane. "But I'm right," said Izuku with a playful smile. "I hate to admit it, but you're right," she said a bit annoyed. After their conversation, Izuku left Akane at her house and then returned to his own. Next day. POV. Today, I was heading to school with Akane. We were talking about trivial things when suddenly, a voice spoke to me. "Izuku-kun, wait," said Kachan. "What's up?" I said calmly with a smile. "I just want to walk with you to school," she said with an energetic smile. "All right, no problem," I said, smiling. When I agreed to let Kachan walk with us, Akane clicked her tongue, which made Kachan triumphantly smile. After 5 minutes, we reached our class, and Aizawa-sensei was already inside. "Students, put on your hero costumes, we're going to do rescue exercises. I'll wait for you outside in 10 minutes, said Aizawa-sensei unenthusiastically. We all quickly went to change into our hero costumes. When we came out, we saw a bus at the entrance. Lita and I positioned ourselves at the front of the students. "Guys, follow me," I said, signaling. When we arrived, we had everyone form a line and boarded the bus. Once everyone was on board, we started talking about our quirks. "Hey, to pass the time, we could share our quirks," suggested Kirishima. "Ooh, I'll start. My quirk is electrification, which allows me to emit a large amount of electrical energy," said Denki excitedly. "Mine is hardening," said Kirishima. Mine is frog, said Tsuyu. Mine is explosion, said Kachan calmly. Well, Izuku, it's your turn, said Tsuyu. My quirk is physical augmentation, said Izuku. The name should be more epic than that, said Denki. Well, too bad it's not, said Izuku, nervously laughing. Izuku always says what I think. Your quirk is very similar to All Might's, said Tsuyu. It's obvious that their styles are similar, after all, they are student and master. But keep in mind that my Uncle Might doesn't shoot out lightning like Izuku-kun, said Akane, saving Izuku from the predicament. Kids, enough chatter, we've arrived, said Aizawa-sensei. Everyone got off the bus in an orderly manner to meet Hero 13. How exciting! It's Hero 13, said Uraka. Hello, everyone, said 13. He will teach you the basics of rescue, so pay attention, said Aizawa-sensei. You know that my quirk is Black Hole, which is very useful for rescue but can also be deadly, said 13. Before she could continue, a portal opened in front of them, and many villains emerged from it. This is part of the training, said Momo overwhelmed. No, these are real villains. 13, take them out of here, said Aizawa-sensei, putting on his goggles. Look at the poor hero hopefuls. I can smell your fear from here, said a tall man with blue hair and many hands all over his body. Shigaraki, All Might isn't here, said the dark cloud that brought the villains. Don't worry. If he's not here, we'll bring him, said Shigaraki, laughing. How do you plan to do that? Said the dark cloud. Kurogiri, don't you see that his precious students are here? If we hurt them, he'll come, said Shigaraki. I didn't think of that, said Kurogiri, now known by that name. Attack, said Shigaraki to the villains. Aizawa-sensei was about to jump into action, but I stopped him with one arm. Aizawa-sensei, let me and Akane handle this, I said, serious but confident. Izuku, I can't do that. It would put you in danger, Aizawa-sensei replied. Sensei, we make a perfect duo. There won't be any danger, I said, sure of my abilities. Even if that's true, I can't send you in there, Aizawa-sensei determinedly stated. I'm sorry, Sensei, but I have to disobey you this time, I said, signaling Akane, who understood. Izuku-kun, are you ready? Asked Akane. Of course, I said, activating 15% of One for All. Aizawa-sensei tried to stop us, but it was futile. We both ran at full speed towards the villains. Detroit Smash, I shouted, knocking out a villain. The blast from my punch made several villains fall. Take this, Akane said, launching a large path of ice spikes. Everyone watched in amazement as Akane and I easily defeated the villains. After a few moments, they were stunned by our perfect coordination. While I hit them, I threw them to Akane to finish them off with either an ice spear or a burst of flames. This went on for minutes until we had defeated half of the enemies. To be honest, my arms were starting to numb, and Akane looked bruised from the effort of using both halves. Ha! You may be strong, kid, but strength doesn't guarantee victory in this battle, Shigaraki said. Kurogiri disappeared and reappeared behind my teammates, but luckily, Aizawa-sensei noticed and nullified Kurogiri's quirk while Momo created handcuffs, and Kachan held him down. Now, who's not going to win? I said, reactivating full Cal and attacking the villains again. Lita, go for reinforcements, Aizawa-sensei instructed. But, Sensei. Lita hesitated. No buts. Just do what I say, Aizawa-sensei said, jumping into the battlefield. Yes, Sensei, Lita said, running to get pro heroes. Aizawa-sensei is coming to support us, I said, smiling. Shut up and fight, Aizawa-sensei said seriously. Focus, Akane said, hitting an approaching villain. Aizawa-sensei, you take care of erasing their quirks while I knock them out, I told Aizawa-sensei, who nodded. After saying that, we fought fiercely. A few minutes later, only Shigaraki was standing. Damn it, he said, scratching his neck violently. Is this all you've got? Kachan taunted. No, girl, I still have the final boss, Nomu, Shigaraki said, revealing a bird-like creature with an exposed brain. Explosive girl, you had to talk, Akane said. This is the ultimate weapon to defeat All Might. Not even all of you together can do anything to him, Shigaraki said confidently. Aizawa-sensei, it seems like things got worse than it seems. We need a plan to defeat this Nomu guy, I said, nervous and tired. Maybe if I freeze or burn him. Akane suggested. It won't work. His skin is resistant, and Aizawa-sensei can't erase mutation-type quirks. There's only one option left, I said seriously. Don't tell me you're going to use your final attack. It's dangerous, you could be incapacitated, Akane analyzed. What do you mean by Izuku's final attack? My teacher asked. The attack is called All-Star. It involves concentrating all my power in my arms to perform more powerful and precise attacks, but it has the drawback of possibly injuring my arms due to the immense pressure exerted on them, I said seriously and uncertain about my own proposition. Do you think you can defeat him with that attack? Aizawa-sensei asked. I believe so, I replied. We have no other option. You'll have to use it, Aizawa-sensei said. All right, I said, walking towards Nomu. Be careful, Izuku-kun, Akane said, worried. One for all 20%, here I go, All-Star, I said, launching myself at Nomu. You won't do anything, kid. Nomu has a shock absorption quirk, Shigaraki said, confident of his victory. Detroit Smash, I said, throwing a hook to his face. Texas Smash, I said, delivering a direct hit. Florida Smash, I said, giving an uppercut. Delaware Smash, I said, delivering the final blow, creating a smoke curtain. I thought I had defeated Nomu, but as the smoke dispersed, Nomu was unharmed after all the attacks. I was immobile since my muscles were too sore to move. Oh, I forgot to tell you. Nomu has a damage absorption quirk, Shigaraki said with a maniacal smile. Nomu ran and grabbed me by the head, slamming me against the ground repeatedly until I was almost unconscious. Izuku-kun, Akane shouted. Deku, Kachan said, almost jumping to help me but stopped by Kirishima and Denki. You see, kid, you're no match for my Nomu. But it's not over yet. You're not enough. I need to prove my point more. Nomu, attack them, Shigaraki said, pointing at the others. Aizawa-sensei and Akane stood in front of Nomu to prevent him from reaching the others. I won't let you hurt my comrades, bird brain, Akane said, emanating both sides of her quirk at the same time. Don't risk it so much, Akane. Reinforcements will arrive soon, Aizawa-sensei said. I'm sorry, Aizawa-sensei, but I can't ignore that he hurt Izuku-kun, Akane said, serious and upset. Akane began sliding towards Nomu to attack him with a path of ice spikes and then give him a full power burst of flames. It's useless, girl. No one can defeat Nomu, Shigaraki said with arrogance. I don't need to defeat him, I just need to keep him busy, Akane said, attacking. Hey, kill her, Nomu, Shigaraki said. Nomu started attacking Akane faster and faster to the point where the barriers Akane used to protect herself were like paper to Nomu. Suddenly, a green flash appeared in front of Nomu, stopping his blow. You can hurt me, but never dare to touch my precious people, or I'll destroy you, I said with monumental anger. Kid, you should have stayed on the ground. The result will be the same no matter how much you try, Shigaraki said, mocking me. Izuku-kun, you're hurt. You have to stop fighting. You've done your part, Akane said, almost crying. I'm sorry, Akane-chan, but I can't stand still while you and Aizawa-sensei are giving it your all, I said with a smile. A voice is heard in the distance. Deku, show them the true meaning of that name. You can do it. Come on, Kachan said, encouraging me, followed by the others. Come on, Izuku, beat the bird, Denki shouted. Show your strength, Kirishima said. Izuku, do it for all of us. The others yelled. Guys, I said, crying. I won't let you down. I activated full cowl. Wow, how cute. Too bad everyone will die, Shigaraki said mockingly. I'll show you what it means to be a true hero, I said, beginning to attack Nomu with everything I had. As I launched myself at Nomu, we exchanged blows, but he was stronger. He started pushing me back more and more until I was almost touching the ground. I tried to counterattack, but it was useless. Every time I tried, he hit even faster. You see, it will happen again. You're weak, and you'll never stand against me. When I kill you, I'll torture everyone you love, Shigaraki said, laughing like a psychopath. As if I'd let you, I said, attacking much faster. If I'm not strong enough, then I'll have to become stronger. This is getting ridiculous, guys, Shigaraki said, serious. Tell me, villain, do you know the UA motto? I challenged. I hate that stupid motto, Shigaraki said. At that moment, I began to attack Nomu again, but the result was the same until I remembered something. Flashback. You can become a hero. No, you can become the greatest hero the world has ever known, All Might said. End of flashback. That's right. I can't give up. There's still a long way to go, I said, giving it my all. Hey, you're an idiot, Shigaraki said, bored. Then I started attacking Nomu again, but this time, it was different. My attacks were having an effect. To overcome the crisis in front of you, to save people with everything you've achieved, that's what makes a hero. Go beyond, plus ultra, I shouted, hitting Nomu with all my power, creating a whirlwind of air in the middle of the field. Come on, Izuku, do it, Akane shouted. Deku, don't lose, Kacchan said. You can do it. The others yelled. When the whirlwind stopped, it could be seen that Nomu had a large hole in his chest from my attack. I thought that would have been enough to defeat him, but I was wrong. Nomu began to regenerate. This guy doesn't go down with anything, I said, my arms purple and my legs red from the pressure of my attacks. Nomu stood up and headed to attack me. I had resigned myself to my possible death, but someone stopped him. I won't allow you to hurt my students, Texas Smash. All Might said, saving me. Nomu went flying through the roof, creating a great tremor. I'm sorry, young Izuku. I should have arrived earlier, All Might said helplessly. Don't worry, All Might. I'm glad you came, I said, collapsing. Young Izuku, hold on. Reinforcements are coming, All Might said, worried. POV Izuku end. Further away, Shigaraki was scratching his neck violently. Darn it, Sensei will be very upset, the blue-haired guy said, frustrated. Shigaraki, let's get out of here, Kurogiri, who had escaped from the students of Class A, said. Fine, Shigaraki said, annoyed. One moment, you won't escape, Kacchan said, trying to stop them, but it was futile. After the fight, the police and ambulances arrived to attend to the wounded. Everyone had some bruises and hematomas, but the most battered were Izuku and Akane, who had quite severe injuries. Izuku had broken arms and ribs, so they had to quickly take him to the hospital. We could see Izuku being taken on a stretcher to the emergency room, accompanied by Akane and Kacchan by his side. I'm sorry, but you girls can't go beyond this point, said a nurse. But ma'am, we can't leave him alone, Akane said anxiously, being grabbed by the shoulder by Kacchan. Akane, hate to say it, but we have to let them do their job, Kacchan said helplessly. All right, I must leave, said the nurse. Minutes later. Where is my son? Inko exclaimed, very upset. Mrs. Inko, Izuku is just getting his arms treated, nothing to worry about, Kacchan reassured. With the blonde's words, Inko calms down. Okay, but why are you here, Katagi-chan? Inko asked, confused. To keep an eye on my best friend's health, Kacchan said, smiling. Your best friend? Akane said, annoyed. Yeah, any problem? Kacchan challenged. Yes, for starters, you stopped being his friend when you abandoned him. Second, you shouldn't be here. Third, go away, you're irritating me, Akane said, very upset. Shut up, bicolor, you don't know anything, Kacchan shouted. Shh, be quiet, we're in a hospital, Inko said, silencing both. All right, mother-in-law, Akane said, hoping the blonde would react. What did you call her? Kacchan said, astonished. As you heard, Akane replied. Enough, both of you. I don't know why I asked, Inko said tensely. After a few hours, the three women were allowed to see Izuku. Izuku, how are you feeling? Inko asked entering the room. Well, my arms hurt like a low blow, Izuku said in pain. Izuku-kun, I'm sorry I couldn't help you against that monster, Akane said regretfully. It's okay, Akane-chan. It was for the best, I wouldn't want you to get hurt, Izuku said, laughing with pain. Deku-kun, you were awesome in your battle, throwing punches and delivering that epic line, Kacchan said, imitating the supposed moves of the green-haired one. Yeah, they were epic, but look at how I ended up in bed, bandaged like a mummy, Izuku said, laughing at his own misfortune. Hee, that's true, Kacchan said, joining the laughter. Don't take it so lightly, I was really worried about you, you know, Akane said, annoyed but with a cute pout. I'm sorry for that, I'll try not to do it again, Izuku said. Enough with the scolding. When will you be discharged? Kacchan asked. It seems it will be tomorrow since my injuries weren't that severe, and thanks to Recovery Girl, I could recover faster, Izuku said happily. The four spent time talking about Izuku's exploits that day. Akane scolded him for being so reckless, while Kacchan praised him for his epic fight, according to her. Next day, Izuku, Akane, and Kacchan were leaving the hospital, heading to school. I hope Professor Aizawa isn't angry, Izuku said, shivering. Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out what he'll do to us, Akane said, echoing Izuku's concern. Don't worry about it, I think Aizawa-sensei will understand, Kacchan said, eating an ice cream. I hope so, Izuku said. After a few minutes, the three finally arrived at their classroom. Hello, everyone, Izuku greeted. Izuku, are you okay? Kirishima asked happily. Yeah, I thought after the fight against the chicken with steroids, you'd be out of commission, Denki added. What can I say? I'm tough, Izuku said, laughing. Indeed you are, Kirishima said. Then Aizawa entered the classroom. Everyone to your seats, I have news, Aizawa said with indifference. Everyone sat down quickly. First, Izuku, Akane, Aizawa said, making both tense. Yes, what's up? They both asked. Don't do something as stupid as yesterday again, understood? Aizawa said, using his quirk. Understood, sir, both said with fear. Good. Second, the sports festival is approaching. This is your chance to show who you are. Remember, this is one of 3 opportunities you have, so give it your best effort, Aizawa said in his usual tone. Yes, sir, Class 1A responded. Third, Mina, Denki, please stop spreading the story of Izuku's fight, Aizawa said tiredly. But sensei, Mina protested. No buts, Aizawa said threateningly. Okay, Mina said, scared. Lastly, due to the festival, we've decided to give you 3 weeks to prepare, Aizawa said seriously. Izuku-kun, let's ask my uncle Toshi if he wants to train us again, Akane said excitedly. Yes, of course. We'll go at lunchtime, Izuku said happily. Excuse me, Deku-kun, could I train with you guys? Kacchan asked hopefully. You can't, Akane said stoically. Why not, half and half? Kacchan said, annoyed. It's true, if she trains with us, she'll discover All Might's secret. I'm sorry, Kacchan, but you won't be able to train with us, Izuku apologized. Oh, I see. Sorry to bother you, Kacchan said, sad. Don't be sad. I promise I'll come to see you every evening to do something, Izuku offered a solution. Alright, Deku-kun, Kacchan said happily. This upset Akane quite a bit as it meant spending less time with her. Izuku-kun, but after each evening, we go to your house to play video games, Akane tried to make Izuku undo the deal. No problem. We can invite her to play, or do you have an issue with that? Izuku innocently asked. Okay, Akane said resigned. After the chat, classes passed quickly until lunch. Let's go, Akane, Izuku said. Yes, I'm coming, Izuku, Akane said. Where are you going? Kacchan asked curiously. We're going to pick someone up, Akane said. Who exactly? Kacchan asked. Well, we're going to pick up a relative of Akane-chan who works at the school, Izuku said, trying to deceive Kacchan. Okay, fine. But I want you to invite me to your house in the evening, Kacchan said. Yes, of course, Kacchan. See you later, Izuku said. Upon leaving, they began to look for Toshi. On the way, they ran into Ida and Uraka. Hey guys, what are you doing? Uraka asked. We're looking for someone, Akane said, smiling. We can help, Ida offered. No need, Izuku said, waving his hand. Hey, could I ask your reason for becoming a hero? Since I met you, I always wanted to know the source of so much courage from both of you, Uraka said. Mine is simply to be the absolute duo with Izuku-kun and surpass my father, Akane said simply. Mine arose when I first saw All Might in action. I was so amazed by his feats that I ended up idolizing him. He became my greatest inspiration, and the other reason was that I want to protect my precious people, Izuku said firmly. And what about your motivation, Ida? Uraka asked. To be a hero as great as my brother, Ida said proudly. Tell me, Uraka, what would yours be? Izuku questioned Uraka. My motivation is not as simple as yours, Uraka said sadly. Come on, it can't be that bad. Please, tell us, Izuku encouraged the brunette. My reason is for money, Uraka said nervously. Upon hearing her, we all were surprised and turned to look at her with some compassion. Why would you do it for money? Ida asked seriously. The truth is, my family's company hasn't been doing well for a long time due to a lack of money. Since I was little, I've watched my parents work hard every day to give me everything I need, she said sadly. Her explanation made us understand that she wasn't doing it out of greed but to help her family. Uraka, your goal is noble and selfish at the same time. From my perspective, saving people for money is something repugnant, but I understand that you do it to help your family get out of their problem, Akane said seriously. Thank you for understanding, everyone, Uraka said with a broken voice. It's nothing, friend, Akane said, giving a smile to the brunette. Well, Uraka, Ida, we must continue searching. Goodbye, Izuku said, pulling Akane through the hallways. Izuku and Akane looked for Toshi in the teacher's lounge, and fortunately, they found him drinking coffee during lunch. Young Izuku, I see you're doing better, Toshi said, smiling. Yes, although my arms still hurt a bit, Izuku said, rubbing his hands. I'm sorry for that. If I had arrived earlier, you wouldn't have had to fight that beast, Toshi said, ashamed of himself. It's okay, Izuku said. Uncle, it wasn't your fault that the villains attacked, Akane reassured Toshi. After talking about what happened at the USJ, Izuku spoke up. Excuse me, Mr. Toshi, I wanted to ask you something, Izuku said calmly. Yes, what is it? Toshi said, giving permission for him to ask his question. Could you train us before the sports festival? Izuku pleaded. Of course, why not? Thanks to the sports festival, I'm free, Toshi accepted. Well, thank you, Mr. Toshi, Izuku said, smiling. It's nothing, young one, Toshi said, sipping his coffee. I'm sorry, Uncle Toshi, but we must go back to class, Akane said, getting up from her seat. Of course, goodbye, Toshi said. After that, classes passed normally until the end of the day. Izuku-kun, where will we train tomorrow? Akane asked. I think where we always do, at the beach, Izuku said. Okay, let's go, Akane said, walking. Yeah, I'm eager to return for the sports festival, Izuku said. Yes, I also want to show my strength to all of you, Akane said. In the distance, a voice could be heard calling us. Deku-kun, wait, Kachan said, waving his hand in the distance. What's up, Kachan? Izuku said. Nothing, I just want to go back home with you, Kachan said with a cute face. Alright, I have no problem with that, Izuku said, tousling his hair. Akane said, annoyed. What's happening, Akane-chan? It's nothing, said Akane, turning away in annoyance. Okay, let's go then, said Izuku. 3 weeks later. In these 3 weeks, Akane and Izuku exponentially improved their abilities. Izuku managed to control 25% of One for All, while Akane learned to use both sides of her quirk in a combined attack resembling a whirlwind. In Kachan's case, she enhanced her explosions by expanding the pores on her palms. Now, we see Izuku, Akane, and Kachan arriving at school. Phew, these last 3 weeks were tough, Kachan said, tired. Yeah, but you'll see it was worth it, Izuku said, trying to cheer up his blonde friend. Even though it's hard to admit, I agree with the blonde, Akane added. Upon reaching the classroom, they opened the door to find their classmates excited. Wow, those were tough weeks, said Denki. Yeah, I trained really hard to stand out at the festival with Akane and Izuku. It's going to be tough, said Kirishima. I believe you guys have the potential to stand out too, Izuku said behind Kirishima. Thanks for the vote of confidence, but I see it as difficult, Kirishima said realistically. That kind of thinking is what makes you weak, Akane said stoically. You limit yourselves. If you stop feeling sorry for yourselves, you could be more skilled. Don't be so harsh, girls, Izuku said. At that moment, Aizawa entered the classroom in his sleeping bag. I hope you're ready for the sports festival, Aizawa said, unenthusiastically. Yes, sensei, they all said in unison. Alright, get ready to go out, Aizawa said. As everyone started to leave the classroom to change into their sports uniforms, they noticed students from various groups blocking the exit. So, this is the class that fought villains? Doesn't look like much, said a blonde with blue eyes. Yeah, they're supposed to be better than UA students, said a boy with pronounced eyebrows. Damn extras, Kachan muttered angrily. Calm down, said a purple-haired boy. You don't get involved, Kachan snapped. If you want to prove who's the best, do it at the festival, the calm boy suggested. Kachan, calm down. Don't be bothered by those comments. We know we have the ability to beat them, Izuku said, calming the blonde. Just because you say so, Deku-kun, the blonde said, calming down. Oh, you must be Izuku Midoriya, the student who defeated most villains in the USJ attack, said the blonde. Yes, that's me. Nice to meet you, Izuku said with a smile. I'll just say that I'll make it clear that Class B is the best, the arrogant blonde declared. Then, an orange-haired girl arrived and hit the blonde. I'm sorry if my classmate caused you trouble, the orange-haired girl said. Don't worry, Izuku said without knowing the girl's name. My name is Itsuka Kendo. I'm the president of Class B, she said, extending her hand for Izuku to shake. I am Izuku Midoriya, the president of Class A, but you probably already know that, Izuku said, responding with a smile. Nice to meet you. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to prepare for the start of the festival. Goodbye, Kendo said, starting to walk away. Goodbye, Kendo. I hope to see you at the festival, Izuku said, bidding farewell. After Kendo left, the other students also began to leave, giving us the freedom to go and change. POV Izuku. After changing into our sports uniforms, we all headed to the stadium on the school grounds. Upon arrival, we were directed to a waiting room to await the start of the festival. Izuku-kun, are you nervous? Akane asked the green-haired boy. I would be lying if I said no. I'm quite disturbed by the idea of so many people watching me fight, Izuku nervously admitted. That's typical of you, you know. You've always been afraid of crowds, Akane said, laughing lightly. It's just that I'm afraid people will think I'm not good enough to be a hero, Izuku explained, revealing the reason behind his fear of crowds. Honestly, when people see you, they see a future hero, Akane said, encouraging him. Thanks, Akane. That eased my fear a bit, Izuku said, feeling calmer. It's nothing, Akane said, downplaying it. Deku-kun, let's do our best at the festival, Kachan exclaimed. Of course. Let's give it our all, Izuku said, raising his fist in the air. Suddenly, a voice came from a screen that appeared out of nowhere. Students, please proceed to the center of the stadium, a female voice instructed. Upon hearing this, everyone started to head outside. When we reached the stadium's entrance, a voice echoed. Welcome to the best festival in the world, where these young heroes will fight to prove their worth, giving it their all. First up, we have the class that bravely fought against villains, Class A, the enthusiastic present mic announced. The cheers from the audience erupted. Oh, there are so many people, Izuku said, almost dying of nerves. Relax, Deku-kun. You'll prove to be the best among us, Kachan reassured. Now, here comes the class that, while not distinguished, shows promise, Class B. Present Mike shouted. I hope Class A is ready for what's coming, the blonde from earlier commented. Ma, calm down, or I'll do it for you, Kendo said, annoyed. Next are classes C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M from the general courses, but it's not interesting, Present Mike said with less excitement. That was harsh, Mina commented. Now, we'll introduce the judge for the first-year students' festival, the heroine from Class R, Midnight, Present Mike declared. Upon seeing the heroine, all the men in the stadium had an exaggerated reaction to her appearance. Wow, it's the sexy heroine Midnight. A man in the stands exclaimed. Where's the director? A man tried to resist Midnight's charms. With the third years, as always, she replied as usual. Calm down, Midnight shouted to restore order. Before starting the festival, we will recite the player's oath. Izuku Midoriya, step forward to represent the first-year students, Midnight announced. Hearing that I would speak in front of everyone almost made me faint, but Kachan gave me a small explosion on the back. Come on, Deku-kun. Show them who you are, Kachan said with a smile. Izuku-kun, good luck with the speech, Akane said, smiling and supporting Izuku. All right, I'll do my best, Izuku said with more confidence. He climbed onto the podium and began to speak. Everyone, never forget why you're here, what your goal is, who you're fighting for, why you're striving. Never forget how you got here. I hope this festival is the best UA has ever had. We can do it, and remember, to overcome the crisis in front of you, with everything you have, and save people with everything you've achieved, that's what makes a hero. Go beyond, plus ultra. He shouted loudly. Plus ultra, shouted the entire stadium. What the green-haired guy said excited everyone. Now, let's see what the first game of the festival will be, said Midnight as a screen appeared behind her. On the screen, A roulette appeared, starting to spin and stopping at the obstacle course. The first game will be the obstacle course, get ready, said Midnight. We all got into position to start the race, and Present Mike's voice echoed through the speakers. Ready, 3, 2, 1, let's go, said Present Mike, starting the race. We all started running at our maximum speed. One for all full cal 30%, I thought, activating one for all. I saw Kachan propelling himself with his explosions. Come on, don't be slow, Kachan said, mocking the other competitors. Akane slid, creating ice paths. Come on, Izuku-kun, don't fall behind, she said, laughing. At that moment, I began to emit green and purple rays and shot off like a bullet. The first obstacle was to get out of a narrow corridor crowded with competitors. Kachan managed to fly over everyone with his explosions, while Akane created an ice path above the others. In my case, I used the walls of the corridor as jumping zones to get out. The second obstacle was to defeat or dodge the robots from the entrance exam. Die, damn robots, Kachan said, enjoying destroying them. Disappear, Akane said stoically. Delaware smash, I said, launching a burst of air, knocking down the robot. Be careful, extras, Deku-kun defeated the robot when it was off balance. It's about to fall, Kachan said mockingly. The next obstacle was to cross a huge abyss, and the only way was by using some rope scattered in some places. Goodbye, useless ones, Kachan said, laughing. Here we go, I said, jumping to the other side. I just have to slide on the ropes, Akane said, freezing them. The last obstacle in the race was a minefield, and everyone who had reached this point was trying to cross the field without exploding. I had an idea. Akane-chan, Kachan, come, I have an idea, I said, taking a piece of metal. Izuku-kun, I want to win on my own, Akane said, refusing. Same here, I have to show my own talent, Kachan said, declining. Okay, see you at the finish line, I said, getting on the piece of metal and jumping onto a mine, getting shot into the air. In the air, I saw that Kachan and Akane-chan were about to reach the finish line, so I activated full cal and propelled myself on the metal piece. I fell quickly to the ground and began to run with 30% of one for all. Hello, girls, I said, smiling warmly. Oh, hi, Deku-kun. How was the trip? Well, it was eventful, but I'm not complaining, I said, running at Kachan's speed. Goodbye, Kachan. I increased my speed, reaching Akane's side. On your right, I said, laughing. Izuku-kun, you shouldn't be on the piece of metal, Akane said, sliding. That's true, but I got bored of it, I said, pretending to yawn. See you at the finish line. With that, I ran even faster towards the finish line and instantly came in first. First place, Izuku Midoriya. Present Mike shouted excitedly. After a few minutes. Second place, Akane Todoroki. Third place, Katsuki Bakugo, Present Mike announced. As Akane and Kachan arrived, the others gradually followed. All the first 40 who arrived will advance to the second round, Midnight said. Izuku-kun, you beat us by a lot, Akane said. Yeah, I didn't think the difference would be that much, Kachan said. But for those who didn't qualify, don't worry, we have more activities for you to shine, Midnight said. Izuku-kun, congratulations on winning, Akane said, hugging the green-haired guy. Yeah, thanks, Akane-chan, I said, returning the hug. Hey, don't take advantage, bicolor, Kachan said, annoyed. Attention, the next game will be